Do you ever have those days where you have a big task list, bunch of things that you want to do, and you're waiting for the motivation and you're waiting and waiting and waiting. It just never comes. And you're like, come on. Or you wait to do something until you feel motivated. Okay, first of all, you are in such good company. I see this with so many of my clients. I'm Amber Deibert. I'm a performance coach, and I work specifically with enterprise and strategic tech sellers, and I help them with their motivation and also their confidence. I help you clear out your mindset so that you can finally feel like you're ready to do what you need to do. And I got to tell you, motivation is a tricky one, so let's get into it. First of all, motivation comes in waves. I always say, if you feel motivated, ride that wave for as long as you possibly can. But if you've ever surfed before, then you know that waves come in sets. Sometimes you've got great waves, sometimes there's no waves. And I want you to know that if you're not feeling motivated, that's actually not a problem. You can still get work done even if you don't feel the motivation. I had a client that I was working with on this. He said, I just want to feel motivated to get this work done. And I sit around and I wait for the motivation to come and it doesn't come. And then finally it's 4 p.m., 5 p.m. And I'm like, dang it, I got to get this done before the end of the day. So I crank and I hurry and get it done, but it's not as good as it would have been if I would have started earlier. Does this sound familiar? Drop a note in the comments below if this is you. So the first tip that I have for you is if you don't feel motivated, that's actually not a problem. Just tell yourself, I don't have to feel motivated to get started. Motivation is a passing emotion that sometimes is there and sometimes is not there. And it's one that you don't have a ton of control over. So if you're not feeling motivated, instead you can lean on emotions like determination and being determined to do it, or maybe even certainty. You're certain that you're going to be able to complete this thing. You're certain that you're going to get the outcome you want. And so you're feeling like you can get going and start working on this. So tactic number 1, tell yourself, it's totally fine that you don't feel motivated. That's not a problem. That's not a sign that you shouldn't be working on this. If the motivation is there, that's okay. You can still get going. Stick around for tip number 3 because it's really going to help. So, tactic number 2, I want you to use really easy ways to get started. All you have to do is get the inertia going and get the momentum going. Once you've gotten started, that's usually the hardest part. And so remind yourself of that. For some of us, our brains tend to make the task bigger than it actually is. When we think about the task at hand, our brains are like, this is way too much. It's too much to do. It's so much work. I'm never going to be able to get it done. I don't have enough time to do this. It's going to take so much effort. And that's just your brain's way of protecting you. I think this all the time when I'm thinking about cleaning my kitchen. My kids will have their homework dumped everywhere. There's shoes, there's leftover dishes. It's a disaster. Nobody knows how to clean up after themselves. And I'm like, this is way too big of a job. There's no way I'm going to get this done. And so I use this tactic in my personal life as much as I do in my professional life. This first tactic is set a timer. Set a timer for 3 minutes and just see how much you can get done in 3 minutes. At the end of the 3 minutes, you're not obligated to continue, but 9 times out of 10, you're going to already be in it. The momentum will be going and you won't want to stop. So you'll just get it done. I use this with my kitchen. I'm like, we're just going to clean for 10 minutes. 10 minutes feels very doable. We're going to see how much we can get done. And do you know what? Inevitably, the whole entire kitchen is clean in 10 minutes. Our brains make it out to be so much bigger than it actually is. And so just know that about yourself. Your brain might be telling you this is a really big project. And then you get started and you're like, actually, it's not as bad as I thought it was. Tip number 2 on ways to get started easily. When you write out your task list, write a time estimate for how long that thing is going to take you. Sometimes there's a mismatch between emotionally how difficult this task feels and realistically how difficult this task actually is. It might be an email that you've been putting off sending. And actually, it's going to take you a minute to copy and paste your template into the email and hit send. It's not going to take that long at all, but emotionally, it feels really hard to do. So when you write down a time estimate on your task list, you can see, oh, actually that task is only going to take 1 minute. And then your brain will be like, I'm going to get a hit of dopamine in 1 minute when I cross it off my list, and your brain will want to get started. Okay. And my third tip for getting rid of the problem of motivation, not worrying about motivation. If you're not feeling motivated, that's fine. My third tip is to calm down the perfectionism. This is something that gets in the way for myself and for so many of my clients. We want to do everything perfectly. We want to make it great because we don't want to withstand the shame that we might feel or the embarrassment or the humiliation if we put something out there and then somebody says, this is not that good. And so instead, we spend way too long perfecting it. And then by thinking that we have to do a perfect job, our brains think it's even bigger, which makes us resist doing this task even more. So I have a few tips for you on perfectionism. First of all, telling yourself, done is better than perfect. All I need to do is get it out the door. I'm just going to focus on done, and then I can iterate from there. I had a coach once tell me to just focus on doing B- work. She was like, we don't need A pluses, we just need B minuses. And I was like, girlfriend, if I put B- work out there, people will come with their pitchforks. They're going to say, this is horrible. We hate this. You're the worst. And do you know what happened? Nothing. Nothing happened. I put out B- work. To me, I was like, this is not good at all. It was B- according to me, and nobody noticed. It's so offensive. Like, come on, people. Don't you know I've been busting my butt trying to do A+ work over here? I put out B- work and nobody notices. I want you to try this too. When you're feeling like the perfectionism is taking control, I want you to try aiming for B- work. We're not going for A pluses. We're just going to do a B-, and you'll probably find, as all of my clients have found, that nobody even notices. They think it's fine. They have no complaints about the B- work that you're doing. So first of all, remind yourself, done is better than perfect. Second of all, aim for doing B- work. This will kind of turn the lever in your brain telling you it doesn't have to be perfect and whatever you've got is fine. And then last tip for perfectionism, I want you to aim to do a messy draft. This is something that I've been practicing. It's been super hard for me, but so rewarding when I do. Again, getting started is the hardest part. And if you can start to write down what it is you're trying to accomplish, where you're trying to go, what you're trying to do, that can really help you get into motion and getting your work done. However, we want to also be very perfect of how we're writing down these notes. And that is really hard to do when you're unclear on what it is you're trying to do. So I want you to try making a messy first draft. And just let yourself make it messy. It's not going to be perfect. You might scribble some things out. You might cross some things out. It might not be perfect and orderly. Let yourself make it messy. That will help your brain start thinking about it. It's going to answer a lot of the questions that you have, and you'll be able to get started much more easily. I hope this was helpful for you. I hope you learned some tricks and tools that you can use the next time you're not feeling motivated so that you don't have to wait for that motivation to come. And again, if you feel motivated, ride that wave as long as possible. If ever I am feeling motivated, I'm like, I am going to crank out the work right now. I'm going to do so many favors for my future self. She's going to be so delighted that this is all done while I'm feeling motivated, because inevitably she won't feel motivated. If this was helpful for you, I would love for you to give it a like, follow, subscribe. I would love to hear from you. And share this with somebody who you think might need it. If you have any questions or comments, you can come find me on LinkedIn. Just search my name, Amber Deibert, or look for it in the comments and show notes. And I'll see you in the next video.